The purpose of matting is to provide a colored frame or border around your photo, artwork, or it may be, to accent it, to display it, and to give it some more interest. So in this case, we want a 1-inch mat around this painting that you did. And if you go with this is an 8x2 or 10x8, 10 inches wide, 8 inches high. So if I want a 1-inch mat around all 4 sides, I want 1 inch over here, 1 inch here, 1 inch down here, 1 inch down here. So that means if this is 10 inches wide, I need to go 12 inches wide to provide the inch here, inch here. I need to go 10 inches high to provide the inch up here and the inch here. So I'll open a new blank file. We'll resize it to 12 inches wide, 10 inches high, 300 dpi, white background for now. Let's say OK. And now we have those 2 documents. This one, we simply take your painting, do Control-Alt to select all of it, Control-C to copy, click on this one, Control-V to paste, and you've pasted it in the exact center of this new document. You can now go ahead and close this window. There's no need to keep that one open. And let me get rid of the bounding box here so we have that. Okay, you have in your layers palette your painting and the background. Background is what we're going to do some work on now. So first thing I'm going to do is make this background a layer, an editable layer. So double click it, just choose the default and do that. Complement your color. You can choose your color any number of ways. You can look for color in your painting that you like. Maybe you want to use some of these shades of gray to accent it. Maybe the shades of green, shades of brown, some of these shades. Whatever you want is fine. Something that's going to work well with this image. In this case, I'm going to think I'm just going to use my eyedropper, and I'm going to pick, let's go about this shade of brown right here. And you notice your foreground color has now changed to that brown. And you want to be on this layer, on the bottom layer. Simply take your paint bucket, click, and you've got a colored panel around it. Now, if you don't like that color, it is simply very easy matter of taking your eyedropper again. Maybe you want to choose a color in this spectrum here and paint the paint bucket and fill it with that. So you have a variety of things you can do. I'm going to go back and use the brown. I kind of like that a little better, I think. Oh, it's a very personal preference. Now, once you have this, you want to add some bevels to the background, to this one, to give it some relief, to give it some dimension so it looks like it's 3-dimensional. So if you go in your layers palette, bevels, and probably click something simple like this one here, this simple sharp inner. Okay, we'll do that. Double click it. You see the effect has been applied, but you want to use the FX icon here to adjust the size. So I'm going to make that size up a little more to give it that dimension so it stands as though it's standing off the wall. So it's got some relief to it, some depth to it. Say OK. Then I'm going to do something that's to accent this photo a little bit. I'm going to go in here and I think for now, oops, excuse me, we'll cancel that. I want to actually go in that layer and add a stroke to it. And my strokes are down here. Add a stroke to it. And you could use some colored strokes. You could take one of these and, well, in fact, let's do that. Let's take this one here. And you see it add a little bit of a green stroke to it. Again, that is something I want to accent a little more, so I'll change the size of that stroke right here. Not too crazy about the green color there, but let's say you go into the yellow spectrum and pick something like that. And that might work okay. And we'll say okay to that. And so now you've got the stroke accenting your photo, the bevel on this. One more thing you could do, it's personal preference. If I zoom in on this a little more, you could on this layer right here, you could go and add choose a filter, and let's go to Let's see. Try and find where it is that I want to stylize. Texture. I'll go to texture, and let's go to grain. And you can see the grain has some kind of little bit of grain. You can make maybe a little more intensity on that, make that grain a little more pronounced. So play around with that a little bit. Say OK. And now the background has some little more texture to it. Make it look like a, rather than just a flat piece of paper, some texture body to it. And that's all there is to it. Now you have your painting matted, has a bevel around it, and could be hung up for display.